Good morning and welcome to the Raben Report. I'm your host, Elliot Raben, so get ready to get triggered. Hello and welcome to the last episode of the Raben Report of the season. My name is Elliot, I'm the host of the show, as you might have heard in our intro, and with me for the last time this season is my expert panel, as always, Marshall, Adam, and Daniel. How are you guys?
Doing
Good.
fantastic.
I'm not thriving, but we're surviving for sure.
Not thriving, but surviving. I like it.
Fair enough. Yeah, we're all just kind of...
Exam season, all these essays, oh my god.
Yeah, I've written like 10,000 words in the last week and a half.
Oh my gosh.
It's awful.
Just sitting at the computer all day.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Except here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
Like,
is
like R&R
downtime.
time, yeah.
Yeah.
This is where we can actually relax, forget about all our issues, and deal with new ones.
Yeah, let's do it.
So,
whales.
let's, again, for the last time this season, before we begin, as per Spirit Live rules and regulations, all opinions expressed on the show are not those of Ryerson or Ryerson faculty and are only those of the individual commentators. Viewer discretion is advised. So without further ado, let's get right to our recap of the week. Beginning with Trump and Native Indians. So he was at a ceremony for... it
was Navajo
Code Talkers, yeah. And he decided that it was the appropriate time to make a joke about Pocahontas and Elizabeth Warren. What do you guys make of that?
Well, the Native Americans that he was honoring pretty much, I guess, they were a key player in World War II. In World War II, the enemy was cracking just about every code the American military was using, and in 1942, the idea was proposed by the U.S. intelligence to use the Navajo language as a code, and throughout the entire World War, they were not able to crack it. So they were a key player in transcribing messages between the Allies in World War II. So the soldiers that he was honoring were a key part in winning the war, and to go out of his way again, as Trump does, to make it about himself and about his sort of outlook on the world. He's like, yeah, we have our own person. We call her Pocahontas, whatever. I was kind of disappointed, which Trump hasn't really disappointed me in a while, because I have like zero to low expectations of him. And he disappointed me. Like the one time he had to be a good guy and honor these Native Americans, like the one time for 5 minutes that he had to be a good guy, he goes out of his way to use the Pocahontas slur, which really was disappointing and totally like not cool in any way.
But you think it's a slur then? Using Pocahontas?
I think it is. I think it is for sure.
So, I mean,
I don't think I'd actually use that word just to belittle someone, but I understand the context.
the Pocahontas thing, it's I don't know if I see it as an issue in and of itself. I think it's the same way if I called Sean King Shaft or something like that. Shaft being for those who don't know, a character from a blaxploitation film, as the genre is known from the 70s.
Who's the man that's got all
yeah,
the
just like
swag?
stereotypical black guy from the 70s movie. And so, I mean, Elizabeth Warren's Native American heritage is dubious at best. I don't know if she's lying. I don't know if she actually is part Cherokee. I haven't looked into it enough. I know a lot of people are saying she's outright lying about her heritage. And
people are making the claim that it was maybe 1/32
yeah, and
Native
so,
or something like that.
I mean, as I understand it, that if you are 1/32 Native, you still count as Native in accordance with most tribes. That's not true for every tribe, but
right.
So if that is the case, and that's how the Cherokees see it, then great. Not very cool of Trump, but if she is lying, then I kind of, don't necessarily have an issue with Trump saying that, but I haven't looked into that enough to know. So as far as the Navajo situation goes, quite uncouth of him. Very, very disrespectful of him. I think it was a very inopportune time to pull some Elizabeth Warren slander. But One of the guys, one of the Navajo guys from the ceremony came out. He was asked if he thought it was offensive, and he's like, you know what, like, out of all the things that we've been called and all the treatment we've gotten, that's the least of my concerns. I didn't see it as a big
It's a
deal.
big statement for him.
So, and he said, you know, when we were in the war, they made us yell Geronimo as we jumped out of airplanes. I didn't find it a problem back then. I don't find the Pocahontas thing a problem now.
Why do they say Geronimo?
Good question.
Isn't it from a person?
It's some notable Native American, Geronimo.
Oh,
I don't
Geronimo.
know if he's a real person. He might be from a story or something.
Google
I
will
don't-
help us find the answer.
But anyway, regardless, very uncouth of Trump. Probably not the best move. A bit disappointing. Quite rude, but you know, not.
Definitely not Geronimo Stilton.
No, not the Geronimo I'm thinking of.
Okay, so great discussion. I just saw a clip of that speech, so I wouldn't be able to comment as thoroughly as you guys. But
I didn't watch the whole speech either. I just saw the clip.
No, the speech was good. You should watch it. I watched most of it.
I think I will.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Yeah, I'll check it out too.
Next up, yesterday we had special guests in Toronto.
Did we?
Michelle Obama.
Oh.
Hey.
Michelle Obama was in Toronto. She was at
love me
the
some Michelle Obama.
she was at the RAC. Sorry, not the RAC, the MAC. The MAC, which is the Mattamy Athletic Center, for those who don't know. And they took out, like, they set up tables on the entire floor, and it was a big event. Sophie Grégoire Trudeau was also there.
Jeez, nice pronunciation.
Yeah.
Merci. Well, I'm fluent in French, of course. My French prof's going to love that if he watches this. So it was a big deal, and thank you to Maria Lisa Leonti.
Oh, Maria, what's up? RSU.
Yeah, she's a good friend of mine. She, and Adams, of course, since he's on RSU, but she told me, because I asked her, like, she was there, so I asked her what they talked about. And she talked about, like, feminism and diversity and women in the workforce and whatnot. Any thoughts on that? Like, it's just her being in Toronto, because we got Hillary Clinton that came, Bill Clinton that came, Bernie that came, Obama came,
Yeah.
now his wife came.
Then November came.
Yeah.
Sorry, bad joke. I love Michelle Obama. I have from her speech back at the 2008 Democratic Convention. That's when I started to, like, know who she really is. I love her story. I loved her speech in the 2016 Democratic Convention. I think she's a wonderful woman. I think that she's a great role model for young black women, young black POCs, young black folks, young POCs in general. I think that she's a great role model for everybody. I like that she's here. I like that she's keeping this conversation going. I like that it wasn't sort of a token during a lot of the time, post-Women March, when, Trump was sort of going on the attack mode against, women in a way, and I like that she's sort of keeping the conversation going and keeping it in a way that's sort of not, I guess, how should I phrase this? I guess doing it in a very elegant way. I'll say that. And I think she's great. I'm happy she's here. I wish I went to go see her. And yeah.
Now, despite Obama being, sorry, shall I move my?
Just move it this way.
There we go.
Okay.
Perfect.
Now they can see it.
Despite Barack Obama being one of my least favorite presidents historically, I do think that him and Michelle seem like fantastic people on a personal level. Of course, I've never met either of them, but from what I gather, from what I see and the way they talk to people, the way they are as a family, I think they're absolutely fantastic on a personal level. The fact she came to Ryerson is really cool. I really like that, and I would have liked to go see it. I actually didn't even know it was happening. I'm kind of regretful that I missed it, but maybe if she comes again, I'll try and catch that. I think Michelle Obama does a lot of good. As far as I'm aware, the most educated First Lady of the United States of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, she went to
Which
Harvard
is,
as well, right?
Of course, yeah.
She was a champion for sort of the grocery store desert issue in the United States.
Yeah, and I think that Michelle Obama is a very accomplished woman, as Adam said, a great role model for young black girls and everybody, really. I think anybody can look up to Michelle Obama for all she's done. And yeah.
Yeah, basically, like, I can't really say much because you guys both took most of what I was gonna say. Like, Yeah, I wish I would have heard about it too. Like I just heard about it on the radio yesterday, like in the morning, because I was going to the airport to drop off my brother and stuff. But yeah, I would have been very insightful to check out what she had to say and stuff like that. And also, like a lot of other people were there. Jagmeet Singh was there, I believe.
Oh yeah, yeah. Sophie Cookwell.
Yeah, exactly.
Course,
Yeah, a lot of prominent political figures and stuff like that. It's good to always see racialized groups being having a platform to speak to lots of people here in Canada specifically.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, and lastly, we got probably most important topic. Prince Harry and Meghan are engaged.
Yeah.
So
I'm
that's
so
kind
sad
of,
for Mike. Oh my god.
Yeah,
It's a
Mike
sad day.
Ross. I don't have much to say about that. I'm really happy, but also very sad because Meghan Markle was like my women crush, everything, always. I think she's easily one of the most attractive women in Hollywood. So the little, hopeful part of me is crushed and sad and destroyed. But I'm
think every
happy for
man's
them.
crushed, yeah.
I'm happy that Prince Harry isn't sort of the playboy that everybody's made him out to be. He looks like he's settling down. But the royal family is happy and not happy at the same time. That he's sort of settling down and not making a fool of himself. But I would think they would have hoped for a more royal blood type of person, not sort of this biracial woman.
divorcee. Oh my
A
goodness.
divorcee, and
Wasn't that such
and
a
there were-
crazy? That was such a big issue in like what the 1900s or something.
No, 97. It wasn't that far. Like
The first time.
the first time when
The first time a divorcee became
Yeah, married
was
someone
part of
in
the
the
royal family.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously you've got King
King
Henry
Char-
VIII, who
yeah,
was a divorcee.
the divorcee.
But yeah, I mean, it's been an issue a couple times.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I believe this is the first time a commoner, so to speak, divorcee has married or is going to marry into the
Is
royal family.
marrying into the royal family. No,
And,
but yeah.
You know, I'm a big monarchist. I love the monarchy. I love that part of Canada's heritage. And
course you
Is the Queen your homie?
yeah, the Queen is my homie, and I think it's great that Prince Harry's getting married. I have no issues with Meghan Markle. I mean, I don't really care who he marries. She seems like I don't know anything about her, but I can't speak to her character. But yeah, I
she's
mean,
nice.
the fact he's settling down is fantastic. I'm very happy for him.
Awesome.
Without sounding so misogynistic and enforcing the patriarchy, Meghan Markle's a
Misogynist?
beautiful,
No.
beautiful lady.
Yeah.
Amazing career that she's had. I think her first actual break was she was giving head to some guy in 90210.
I thought it was a Deal or No Deal case model.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'm talking about like in an actual TV show, like
Oh.
before she got her big break like in
Acting.
Suits, is
Yeah,
acting,
yeah,
yeah.
not
Oh,
just
yeah.
looking pretty. Like that's
Yeah.
that's actual.
Yeah, her actual
Sec-
origins
yeah.
is a Deal or No Deal case model.
Yeah, she was. Yeah,
Oh,
pretty
wow.
cool.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
And then now
Yeah.
she's marrying.
Now marrying
Prince
into
Harry,
the
that's
royal
pretty cool.
family. Yeah, no, good for her.
So is that all
Good
done
for
now?
him.
Yeah.
Good for him. More than good for her. I'd say.
Congratulations.
He's
yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
ugly.
I
a lot
would
of people-
disagree.
no,
I would
a lot of
disagree.
people disagree with
I
that.
think he's the uglier brother.
I
No.
completely disagree.
Really?
I
No,
think,
William is.
I think Will
disgusting.
is.
Yeah, Will,
like-
he's like balding
I'm getting
completely.
roasted.
Kate Middleton though.
I'm
Kate
getting
Middleton.
roasted. Kate Middleton.
Kate Middleton,
Kate Middleton.
is gorgeous.
No, no.
Yeah, no, I
Kate
think
Middleton's
Prince
way out
Harry-
of his league as well.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think
Yeah.
Prince Harry's a very handsome guy. I mean, I understand that there's a kind of negative view on gingers, but I
I don't think he's ugly because he's ginger.
I
I
know
think he's ugly because he's ugly.
I'm sure you don't. I think
Yeah.
that some people would think that. But I think that the stigma against gingers is something that needs to end. I think that the
And
Tune in next
ginger
season
head.
where we talk about gingers, guys.
What the fuck is gingerism? Like,
Gingerism?
yeah, here we go.
It's a disease now?
Yeah, but that's pretty much all the breaking news topics
Yeah.
we have covered, right? So we should
And that was
go-
the last breaking news of the season. So let's move on to our main topic, which is net neutrality. Now, this topic has been a big issue for a while, but has come back up, and most people don't even know about it. Philip DeFranco, if any of you know who that is,
probably my most reliable way to get some news. Like,
I'm a big fan.
he's very he's
don't
very
think-
unbiased. That's what I
you
like
don't
about
think
him.
so?
I don't like the way that he talks. I know that sounds
I love the way he
very
talks
immature of
because he
me.
talks like a dick. That's why.
No, but that's what
he's-
I don't like. He
he's-
sounds so pretentious and that he's the smartest guy in the world.
No, but he's just spitting facts.
No,
and
I see
stuff
that.
like
I see that completely.
That's
You know
fine.
what I'm
That's
talking
fine.
about, right?
That's fine.
No, I absolutely see that.
Like, I watched his video during that whole Adam Saleh issue where he sort of faked his getting discriminated on American Airlines or United Airlines, and just the way that he was talking just really, really bothered me. So, like, I
Yeah.
can't stand.
No,
Philip
totally agree. I
DeFranco.
love Phil DeFranco, but Adam is absolutely right there. Very, very pretentious way of speaking, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. That's cool.
I can't get around
I
it.
think me as like I wouldn't like an OG like YouTube watcher.
Yeah.
Like I've been watching since like in the beginning.
See,
Like,
I'm not a big YouTube
Since he was
guy.
Sexy Phil.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I remember him. He was on. He made like his shitty.
Like webcam videos.
No, yeah, his webcam. No, he made like what's it called? It was like a college drama thing that he had with another like YouTuber and a couple other YouTubers called Hooking Up, and it was just so bad. And I just love to see him rise to the top now, becoming like just bettering his content, creating a massive media company and stuff like that, and just watching someone from YouTube go and branch out of YouTube and just become a global superpower like in the internet, you know, which is just I just love that. You know?
I like him. I can see where you're coming from, Adam.
Yeah.
He's even like
but-
top 5 of YouTubers and stuff like
No,
that.
I can't get around his voice.
Okay, well we're not friends anymore. That's
Oh,
fine.
it's been fun. It's been fun. You're
Thank you
ableist.
for watching the Raben Report. The show's done. We can, I just like him because he's unbiased. He's like he maybe the way he talks is not the best, but he's unbiased. That's
But
what I like.
in terms
So-
of that, in terms of his episodes, like let's go back to the topic. When he's discussed net neutrality, and another YouTuber called the Angry Joe Show, he does more gaming stuff, right? They both discuss net neutrality. They give a very informative way to discuss the topic for people who have absolutely no idea, like people
Yeah.
who just check
No,
Facebook.
I
and
can,
that's
I
it.
can respect that. I can
for sure.
definitely respect
sure.
that. But to be fair to Philip DeFranco, like I don't like a lot of other YouTubers. Like I guess I don't have the sort of. It's an acquired taste to watch
Yeah.
someone for 12 minutes
I guess.
talk, staring into the camera.
That's perfect for me, like when I'm eating some food or
Yeah.
some ramen. You
Yep,
know,
yep,
like,
for sure.
Yeah, no, I respect that completely. Yeah.
So yeah, again, back to Philip DeFranco. He summed it up really well, in my opinion, and this is what he said. He said that essentially net neutrality means it's a free, fair, open internet with a level playing field. It keeps internet service providers from being able to influence what you do online. I think that's a pretty fair definition of it.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it in further detail. But now the reason that this issue has come back up, let me just put this up because we're talking about it. U.S. Congress has actually decided to loosen the rules on net neutrality in a sense, and that can pose a big problem. Today, we find out what the new rules are, in a sense, how they can be problematic, and what the future of the interweb is. So again, before we start, remember we are live on Facebook. Make sure to comment on our live feed. It is our last episode of the season, and you never know, there could be some benefits from commenting. Just saying.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
hot
You
take.
never know.
Whoa.
Never know.
Whoa.
Yeah. You can
Whoa.
see how much suspense there is. But yeah, so
Wow.
you'll have your thoughts read live on air. Let's begin, shall we? First,
Anybody want to go first?
for the first question.
Oh, first
You need the
question.
first question.
Yeah, let's go.
Sorry, I'm too excited.
I mentioned
Too excited.
briefly what net neutrality is. Yeah. But let's find out who actually supports and who's against it.
Are you asking in the context of this room or in the context of a more global? Or,
Both.
Okay.
Who in this room supports it, who in this room opposes it, and who in the real world, not to say that this isn't the real world, but who outside of this room supports and is
So
against
in terms
it.
of people who are against net neutrality, it would be the mega ISP corporation. So that would be like Comcast. That would be
Corporate America.
Yeah, corporate America, pretty much. So who is it? Comcast, AT&T, Time Warner, which they switched to some other brand. That's what they've renamed themselves. And there's one more I'm thinking of. Verizon,
yeah.
I think. Verizon.
Yeah.
So these guys, like, obviously they're going to support it because they are the major.
They're against it. They're against
Sorry,
it.
that's what I meant. Sorry, they are against it because they provide the internet, right? The problem with it, though, is because depending on your geographic location in the United States, like let's say you're living in like the Midwest or like Oklahoma or something like that, where like there's only like one ISP, like there's only one internet service provider, you're basically fucked then because like, you have to pay. You're gonna be forced to pay them even more money for accessing particular websites and stuff. Like we'll go more into this after, but. Yeah, and then people who are in favor of it, we've actually seen like lots of support from the right and the left, just because like it would just be a complete detriment if we have to pay even more for our internet, you know? Because some people believe that the internet should be a public utility. I would agree with that as like a right and stuff like that. But yeah, it's pretty crazy like who's in support and who's against it. And then that guy, what's his name? Ajit, whatever, the chairman of the SEC.
Yeah. I can't. His name is evading me right now. Is it Ajit?
Ajit, yeah.
I think that's what it is. Anyway, so, you know,
Ajit Pai.
Ajit Pai, that's it. So, just as I am suspicious of big government, I'm also quite suspicious of big corporations. And you do see those big corporations, the four Daniel listed, as the main ones supporting it. One thing I really don't like to see is how Verizon, I believe, has kind of pretended to be in favor of net neutrality when that's not the case. I mean, if you're gonna be against it, then be honest about it. Come on, how low can you go in terms of integrity?
Well, Verizon's integrity is out the window.
Yeah, no, for sure.
After the whole Snowden scandal,
Yeah.
Verizon's integrity is out the window.
And so we have our first comment regarding net neutrality. Laura says, no one supports net neutrality except for the people with the money pushing it. And I'm assuming, Laura, I mean, I don't want to speak for Laura here, but I'm assuming she means no one is against net neutrality except for the people with money pushing it. Because, I mean, currently in the United States, there is net neutrality right now. Yep. And the FCC is looking to get rid of it. So, you know, I had been against net neutrality for quite a while as a big free market guy. My opinions of free markets have
pro net neutrality.
No, I was against it.
Oh, okay.
My opinions on free markets have changed. I'm still a free market guy, but I have a different kind of scope of it now. And I think that there are some things that the government can't, so the government has to control. The private sector cannot have complete control over things like the military and borders and the internet. And roads. Sorry, libertarians. I know, I know you're really afraid of roads, but
infrastructure. Oh my god!
I hope I didn't trigger any libertarian PTSD with my mention of roads. But in terms of who's for it and who's against it, you've got a lot of the U.S. Senate, most of the Republicans who are against net neutrality, trying to get rid of it. It's a lot of the neocon types. Neoliberal types.
Well, so, like Republicans in the right, they're like some people are like they've been like divided in what their beliefs are in net neutrality. Correct?
Yeah, and I mean I'm no fan of the Republican Party in terms of who makes it up. I love the Republican Party in a foundational way, but in terms of the people who are a part of it, I'm no fan. You see a lot of these people who are just pro big business and you know under the guise of being pro free markets, but in a monopoly, that is not a free market truly. And so I know Rand Paul is one guy who's against it, or sorry, who's for net neutrality. This is going to be something that I mix up a lot during the show, against and for. It happens.
Yeah, it's confusing, but we'll clarify it. Of course.
So, Marshall, I wanted to ask another question to interject a bit. You mentioned free markets. I actually had a question about that. How does net neutrality affect free markets and competition? I was saving it for later, but since you brought it up.
Yeah, so essentially in a neutral internet, there is all internet service providers have to provide full access across the board to all websites. Yeah. Same speed, same level of access. They can't sell you, say you have to pay extra to go to this website. They have to provide it all. And so if net neutrality were not a thing, there would be bigger websites that get more traffic who would be able to pay the internet service provider to provide faster and easier and more access to their websites, whereas the smaller websites that get less traffic would not be able to afford to pay for the faster speeds and the greater the ability to hold more traffic and more users. And so on the surface, that certainly seems like it's a fair free market type of deal. However, I look at it more as if a car manufacturer were able to were able to slow your vehicle down upon going to certain stores or going certain routes because they have businesses who are paying that car manufacturer. I think that intervention into a free market, so to speak, is sometimes necessary in cases like these because not everything can be provided privately.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, one thing that I like to compare to is like in a more Canadian and more even actually going in more depth is in a Torontonian context would be if we compare net neutrality to our highway infrastructure right now. So an example, like we have the 427, we have the 401, QEW, all these major highways, right? We also have the 407, right?
Yeah.
Now that's a lot more faster. It can take you from point A to point B if you're a bit more north of downtown Toronto, right? But you have to pay for that, right? And it is technically, it's a faster lane. You can get there a lot quicker, right? That's fine. That's one example of like, I guess like the free market where like, so like consumers can actually decide, is like, yeah, maybe I'm like rushing a bit late to work, so I can take the 407 and just pay a bit more, right? So that's basically the same way.
That's actually a very, very good
That's how I like to
comparison.
compare it to. Like, I'll also show, like, and pull it up right here. I can show you some stuff in terms of net neutrality.
That's probably the simplest way I've ever heard of it explained.
Yeah.
This picture over here that I have here, it also shows in a very simplified way. So like,
Just keep going.
Yeah, perfect. So it shows right there, like the left, like the picture right here you see on the left is actually what we have right now in the United States and pretty much everywhere, right? Here on the right is actually what they would be having. And if you ever actually are traveling on 401 East, like pretty much on the way to Yorkdale, we have also the express and the collectors roads, right? So that kind of shows how what's going to happen there. Like if everyone's stuck like with the same shitty internet, it's going to take you forever to load like a YouTube video, right?
Yep.
It's going to take me forever to enjoy my Philip DeFranco, even if Adam here hates him. That's fine.
All right.
So-
all right.
We have a comment coming in from my old friend Matthew, coming in from England. The guy earlier hit the nail on the head. The internet is as much a utility as water or gas. Imagine if when you run a tap, you had to pay more according to what you're going to use it for. Net neutrality isn't a debate a moral society should be having.
Yeah.
And I would agree with that. I
Right on
think,
the noggin there.
I mean, I don't know if I would agree that it's not a debate we should be having, because I think I have seen some solid points against net neutrality. However, I do largely agree that it is a utility and that...
Do you remember what those points were? Like,
Yeah,
why?
so, I mean, one thing I'm thinking is that, say you don't use the internet for anything but email. I think it would be, you know, an advantage to you to be able to pay only for email services, pay, I don't know, $6 a month only for email services because you don't use the internet for anything else.
I can see that with like older generations who like only use it for Facebook.
I get that.
Yeah.
But like, there can be reform that can allow that. You
Yeah,
don't have to
absolutely.
completely sort of, you know, take off the rails on the internet. What the internet has been for the whole world, I think the internet is the greatest and the best and worst thing to happen to the world. I think that it's allowed for a lot more crime and things like that to occur. But at the same time, the internet is more than what we as, you know, first world people imagine it to be. Like, I know that in places like Mexico has a huge structure around the internet to allow internet access to have teachers on computers through the internet in classrooms instead of having to hire teachers. It's allowed for the word to get out about natural disasters much quicker, the sort of to prevent a lot of the
these very practical uses
it's a
for the
very,
internet.
very, very practical thing. And it's more than things like us, than things like we use it for, like, you know, for example, running this show. Or, you know, using our emails or using all these different things. And I think that this is sort of the beginning of the end of the potential of the internet. I think that net neutrality has allowed everybody, poor, rich, whatever, to have internet access. Like libraries. Libraries have computers, right? Libraries are penny pinching all over the world because not enough money is going into libraries, which is a horrible thing in itself.
Yeah.
And if net neutrality gets disbanded, libraries have absolutely no reason to pay more for their internet service because they don't have a source of income other than late fees and donations.
Yeah.
So you're going to take that away, you're going to lose internet in the library. You're going to lose, like, our tuition is going to go up. If Ryerson has to pay more for our database access or more for our access of things like Netflix.
And our Wi-Fi is pretty good.
Our
Like,
It's
Wi-Fi
really
is
good.
Our
like how
Wi-Fi-
much is it? How and think we don't understand like how much would that even cost? Like,
Yeah.
It's
for some
insane.
reason.
I
And we
wouldn't
actually
even
have two
know.
networks.
We don't know
Yeah.
of any idea.
Are you secure in EduRoam?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
have.
Or
those
no,
two- yeah.
Ryerson and EduRoam.
That's
And
even-
EduRoam
EduRoam is
works
for every single Ontario university.
I can go to like
Really?
Yeah.
McGill and use EduRoam.
That's insane.
That access in itself can go up. Everything can go up. That's the thing. The internet has become this huge question mark of its potential, and in removing net neutrality, you create another question mark of what's going to cost more. Will Netflix cost more? Will internet pornography cost more? Will there be more ads in different things? Will there be like will Facebook start membership fees?
Yeah.
Will Twitter start membership fees? Like there are going to be ways to go around
So,
this.
I love
In-
all the websites you
yeah.
mentioned, but you forgot the most important one, especially for the internet. And I know it's gonna sound creepy from when I say it,
Pornography.
though. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I said
Pornog-
internet.
He did.
I said
Oh, he
internet.
did.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad, my
That was
bad.
one of the only things you listed.
Yeah, no. Okay, you know what?
But here's the here's the thing, though.
internet porn is 40% of the internet. Like, that's how things
No,
are.
but pornography plays such a role in technology and electronics and for the internet. Fun fact, if you guys don't know, like,
Everything is about sex.
no, but not about but
Sex
like,
sells.
No, but
Yeah,
like,
sex sells.
specifically for for the transition after DVDs, because remember, like, back in the day when Xbox 360 and the PS3 came out,
Yeah.
it was in terms of media platforms, it was either HD DVD or Blu-ray, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what won? Blu-ray, obviously.
Blu-ray,
right?
yeah.
And Blu-ray won because it had a lot more potential and easier access for
Better
people,
quality.
better quality for them to produce it for
Yeah.
pornography and stuff like that. So it's crazy like that.
So, in a sense, then, you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Sorry.
In a sense, internet cannot be like a basic cable package, because I know one of you mentioned that it would be a good thing if you could just pay for what you want.
And I
right?
agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like,
Paying for what you want.
Yeah.
Well, we kind of
But the
already
thing
have
is,
that
but
for
how can
TV, right?
but
So-
how can that be when you just
Yeah.
mentioned, like, if the library is not going to pay, they don't have enough money to pay for more, so they just basically need access to everything.
Yeah.
But if you start paying for what you want, you turn it into a basic cable package,
Yeah.
or like even cable packages that you pick and choose what you want
Yeah,
now, right?
they have that.
Which for internet too.
No.
Or no, for just cable. I mean, it turns into like a shit show because you can't get everything and everything goes up, right?
Yeah.
So it cannot be like a basic. It cannot be like pick and choose what you want.
Yeah, and
You
you know,
lose- you
as
lose-
much as I think that would be fantastic, it is something that would come with caveats that we maybe don't want. I think it would be great if my grandma could just pay like single-digit dollars a month so that she could, read her emails and nothing else, because she's not going to go on YouTube or Facebook or anything like that. But if we can't figure out a way to implement that without compromising the neutrality of the internet, then I don't think that the benefits outweigh the negatives there. And we have two comments. We have Laura again saying the internet is undeniably a net positive, and I would agree with that. And Aaron, who says telecoms own some news sources. Excuse me. So you can imagine how that can affect how information can be controlled by the company that provides your internet.
I hadn't thought of that.
And for sure, you're absolutely right. I think that it's just having the ability to use the internet for a way that is allows the consumer to choose what they want to do and doesn't place restrictions upon the consumer, I think is very important. And I mean, one thing is, I know AT&T, I don't want to say AT&T, ISP, I'm not sure which one it was slowing down Netflix before net neutrality was implemented in 2015. And because
it's a recent thing.
Yeah, it's very new, net neutrality, and so that's something I wanted to touch on afterwards. I'm sorry, someone else.
I just wanted to. You good?
Actually,
You're witnessing a live death of Marshall on the show.
I don't know what happened there. I took a breath and I inhaled something. I don't know what I just inhaled.
Oh, went through the wrong hole. Yeah.
Some sort of large particle. I just inhaled it. I apologize for that. I'll continue now. So AT&T was slowing down Netflix.
Oh, it was
because
Verizon actually who did
Verizon
it.
was slowing down Netflix because they offer their own Netflix type of
Hulu,
video
is it?
streaming service or something.
Snake.
And so the problem there is that I don't know, was it Hulu? I don't know what it was, but it's one thing that me saying I don't know what it was is very indicative of the quality of the service. I mean, I know Hulu. I've heard of Hulu. I used to watch Family Guy on Hulu.
Wow.
It's not a good service, really, like objectively compared to Netflix and even compared to Crave and
Crave
and-
TV.
and what's that other one? The one with the purple.
Show Me.
Show Me.
But that's gone.
I wasn't
It
aware of that.
stopped?
Yeah, Show Me's gone.
But
Oh, wow.
compared
Damn.
to those, like
Can't show me
Hulu
anything anymore.
Hulu is not a good service, and to force consumers into using this service that is objectively worse, when something like Netflix that is for all
that
its
goes
faults,
against
is
the
so
free
good.
market. Then like,
It
so
is.
it's- Yeah.
You know what? It's like when Ryerson tried to push their app.
I love the Ryerson app.
Sorry.
Really?
I love it.
I think it's garbage.
Okay, it's terrible. It's a terrible app.
What,
But
the Ryerson app?
I love
Yeah.
I
Which
love all
one?
the things I can do
The
with
app,
it.
like
Yeah,
the
just,
Ryerson app. You
What
can
would you
log
use
into
it
RU
for?
Secure. You can book rooms on it.
yeah, that you can do it for. I check my schedule on it.
Yeah.
I check where my classes are.
I just use I just do it on Google Chrome.
Yeah,
but
I do it on Google Chrome. I
I-
think the app is garbage.
I think
Yeah.
as bad as the app actually is, I find it very helpful. I've actually had it before. Like as soon as I got accepted to Ryerson, I downloaded it. I was so excited for it, and I've had it ever
OG.
since. And I think it's a very helpful app, despite it being. I'm sorry if whoever designed the app is listening right now.
No. I don't have any hate towards the designer of the app. Like, it's a good idea, but
It's
I
a
still
good
think it's
idea,
garbage.
but be better. It's a garbage UI, garbage functionality. It's the things it can do are fantastic. I love being able to book a room and check my schedule and look at a
the
map of the
interface is pretty
school.
bad.
And,
Yeah, we should just go back to the snail mail system to
Yeah.
book rooms and stuff. You know.
Yeah, just book it 3 to 5 days in advance, whatever. no, but look, like I have a lot of respect for app designers. I have a lot of respect for people that take care of all that. But I don't want to be forced to use the app in the same way that with the removal of net neutrality, I don't want to be forced if Netflix is like bum slow. I don't want to be forced to use Crave TV or Hulu. Like I pay for Netflix.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I want to know why the U.S. Congress, because we're talking about the effect of net neutrality, why the U.S. Congress has decided to really loosen the rules and just let it go.
More
Let it
money
go.
into the hands of corporations. More money. More money.
now, as I understand it, the vote isn't until December 12th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a
That's
vote.
why you've got people like on Twitter.
Well, it's
talking
Actually,
about
I'm
it.
sorry. The Senate did vote on it already, if I'm not mistaken.
I wouldn't know.
What from my
I should
understanding
know,
was
but I don't.
from my understanding it was the five people who are the board of directors on the FCC. They actually get to decide what's going to happen, but they have to go through a hearing with Congress, I think, or sorry, with the Senate specifically.
And what do you think the result is going to be?
If we have enough people that are actually going to be calling their representatives, I don't think it would pass. Actually, sorry, I'll change my answer. I think there's 3 people who are right-leaning in the Republican who are against net neutrality in the board of directors. So that means
Who are
that
for it.
No, they're against it. Republicans.
Oh.
They're against. Yeah, so they don't want a free. There we go. They don't want a free neutral internet.
Yeah.
And there's 2 that are Democratic, more left, that would vote. Sorry, no, that you are right then. Against for the motion then for yeah. So people who are supporting it, there's not enough. So then that means that it would pass. So that they would so that ISPs would have this type of control, which is ridiculous. And then but if that happens though, it's going to be a shit show. Everyone's going to protest and stuff like
Now-
that.
So the FCC won't let me be. No.
Now the question is how. So let's say the decision goes through and there's no more net
I wanted to
neutrality in
say
the
that
U.S.
whole
Yeah.
episode.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
It's going to trickle down here to Canada.
Exactly. So
Yeah,
I
we're
want to
paying
ask.
more for it.
I want to ask, how is that going to affect Canada
Well,
specifically?
a lot of what we use goes through American servers and American ISPs and websites. So we'll end up paying more for our internet. And if anything, it'll create a precedent. Because right now we have 2 companies in this ginormous country that run the internet. We have third world internet for a first world country.
Really?
And
Yeah, we have some of the slowest.
we have the slowest internet in the
in
developed world.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Because no one wants to invest in the infrastructure that it takes to put internet in this country. So if that happens, then Bell and Rogers can just literally be like, F you, and we have to pay more for it because that's the only options we have.
Right.
So it'll just create this precedent that, you can charge more for better speeds. You can charge more for using streaming a certain amount per month. Because if you game and use Netflix and whatever,
Yeah,
you're streaming.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
what I wanted to talk about net neutrality being a relatively new thing is that I do think that there's some sensationalism going on. There was no net neutrality in the United States prior to 2015, and the sky wasn't falling, the internet wasn't unusable, and something a lot of people don't realize: we don't have net neutrality in Canada. We never have.
Okay.
We don't?
We don't currently have it in Canada. A lot of countries do not have it. The European Union has it.
Do Canadians know that we don't have net neutrality?
No, they don't. They think
Canadians
that
don't know anything.
like the people I talk to about net neutrality think this FCC thing, think the U.S. Talking about net neutrality is a whole global world vote, like the U.S. controls the entire world. I mean, no, like countries are still sovereign states, And I believe that the EU and Australia are essentially the places with net neutrality, with like full net neutrality right now. Now, we do have the internet service providers in Canada do provide neutral internet services for the most part. They don't have to, but they do. There are some exceptions with TELUS, I believe. There's a bit of controversy where they were censoring things.
Yeah, it says right here something like that. Hold on.
And Bell and Rogers providing faster services for the things they own. And have you noticed it? Has anybody noticed it?
No.
No.
Not really.
So
They're either very good at it or people just don't care.
Yeah, and so I think that's certainly an argument, maybe not against net neutrality, but for the fact that it's really not a huge deal.
So what changed, really?
Well, nothing in Canada. In the
2015.
States, it was under the Obama administration, a net neutrality bill was passed, enforcing complete neutrality of internet services. Shortly thereafter, there was a bill that was very close to being passed that would get rid of it, that would repeal it.
And that's happening now, basically.
And so that didn't go through. And now they're trying to bring it back. They changed it up a bit. And
So, sorry, you wanted to finish?
I mean, it's the internet in the States has only been neutral for 2 years, and it's been met with constant pushback ever since.
So what is Comcast's role in this? Because this topic really came up because there was a report that Comcast is the one really pushing for getting rid of net neutrality.
Well, so Ajit Pai is the former president or CEO or chairman or something like that.
I think he was a lawyer for Verizon, actually.
Oh, okay. I don't
something
want
like
to.
that.
Yeah, I maybe don't have my facts straight there, but Comcast is one of the biggest internet service providers probably in the world, but obviously in the States, and they're really getting their lobbyists on Congress, just pushing against net neutrality, talking about how it's an anti-free market type of thing, and how, in order to create a fair system for all ISPs, net neutrality needs to be abolished. And so, I mean, it's the general public is really quite in favor of net neutrality, of course, and I'd say is that a good enough reason? I don't know, but it's something that I really think is evident of the government representatives in the States not doing what they're supposed to be doing. They are supposed to be representing the public.
Your fiduciary duty as a representative of your constituents is to do what they want. But that's sort of turned into do what you can to stay in power.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate. for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I want to wrap the show with my final question, which is what can we do to help keep the internet neutral?
Just, I guess, awareness.
Yeah, I think even like we're
Push
doing like
forward
a small
awareness.
role in that by just people
By
like,
the
talking
show.
like
about
just
this.
making people aware of it.
You know, I don't want to go down the slippery slope of putting restrictions on the internet. The sort of the fruits of the internet is sort of this, unbountiful, unrestricted sort of access that, me sitting in Canada in this first world society versus, somebody with a modem in a place like Yemen that can get access to the internet. I feel like if we can both have access to the internet, then that's the beauty of the internet. I think the internet breeds its own sort of twisted way of equality, and in the removal of net neutrality, or not necessarily the removal of net neutrality, but the beginning of the end of an unrestricted internet, or sort of creating the precedent to put restrictions on the internet, will create for a lot of problems down the line, and we're going to regret not stopping this when we could.
Yeah, because
So-
if it gets passed, and then
Yeah.
that's like the battle that it will take to bring it back to
Yeah.
something like that, fighting these big
Yeah,
corporations,
especially
stuff like
in
that.
times like this, like net neutrality is like on the back burner of the back burner of the back burner.
And there's a big generational gap. Like,
Yeah.
you talk to anybody over the age of 35 and they don't even know what it is.
yeah,
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily malicious ignorance or anything.
No, it's
just
not. It's just
people over the age of
times.
35 don't really care about the internet really
Yeah.
as much, and they don't spend their time on websites beyond the mainstream websites
Yeah.
like Facebook and YouTube.
Yeah.
So what can we do? It's tough. I think
Should
that
we just call
The closest- yeah, call your local
Congress
congressman,
people,
yeah.
politicians?
well, yeah, in the
Has
US.
that ever worked? calling
know.
your congressman.
I mean, when you create a petition in the U.S., like once it reaches a certain amount of
100,000
signatures, 100,000, the government has to look at it, right? So I mean,
but they don't
calls
have to do anything.
calls
They
could
just have
work,
to take a look at it.
which is a benefit in itself.
It's like, oh, man.
So I
The
think
petition.
that our system in Canada is better in that regard. I think that there is more regard for the constituents of members of parliament. I don't think there's that regard nearly as much in the U.S. And I think that regardless of whether this particular instance of the anti-net neutrality bill passes or not, there's always going to be pushback against net neutrality in the U.S. So I don't know. I think a executive order, Mr. Trump, might help out there.
executive order.
But I thought, from what I heard, that Trump was against net neutrality.
Does Trump even know what the
I
internet
don't
is?
think
Ah, he
Trump
does.
has
Twitter.
commented
Oh,
on net
he
neutrality.
has
tweeted
Twitter.
about it.
Yeah, yeah.
He
Did
tweeted
he?
about it.
What did he say?
I actually looked it up yesterday.
Just
Trump's-
Time Magazine called me, maybe,
Oh,
that
yeah.
I might be the Time Man of the Year. I said no. Sorry.
Hard
What-
pass.
Hard
pass.
So it's tough. I don't think net neutrality is going to last in the U.S. It's unfortunate. I would like to see it last, but I also don't think it's this catastrophic
Oh, it was from years ago,
thing
so I don't know.
if it doesn't last. Of course I would like it to, but I don't see it with the way that their system works, with the corporatism, the crony capitalism that has plagued the U.S. for decades, centuries, since the days of Rockefeller. I mean, like the original Rockefeller.
Yeah.
I just want to show actually one more thing in terms of net neutrality. Just pull this up actually. So this is probably like the best way to get you guys, for anyone who's listening, to be in favor of net neutrality. If you actually look at this, here I want to highlight at
Oh, yeah, I've
least
seen that.
3 different things. This is probably the most biggest thing that everyone's seen. So here we go. So let's say, oh, whoops, I didn't know it was touchscreen. Let's say that, so they're charging you $30 for your internet. That's bullshit because we know everyone's getting charged more. So on top of that only, so that's probably the basic package. So you'll get a slow internet with that. And then you're going to have to pay more on top. Let's pay another $20 to get even faster internet. Another $5 just to access Google and YouTube or something like that. $10 for Netflix and YouTube. Another $10 for Spotify if you want to use it. And let's say like someone who's gaming a lot and they use all of their fast internet. They're going to have to pay them even more money after that if they want to recharge for full access internet and stuff like that. So it's ridiculous. Like, it's just, think about it in terms of your pocket and like the money you're spending, because we're already paying a significant amount for this type of access, right? So it's just going to destroy us in the long run, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't see this ending well.
Yeah.
So we do have to wrap up. But just a quick question. I mean, it is our last episode of the season. Just want to know, and our audience too, if you can comment real quick, favorite episode of the season.
I would say my favorite episode was WTF is Marxism. That was definitely my favorite. I had a lot of fun doing that one, so I think that was definitely.
And religious
Marshall?
freedom was mine.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty good.
And you?
I think I would take this one right now, just because like we got some good laughs and we're trying to be very. I think most of us are somewhat informed, educated on the topic, so like we just had a good conversation about
I think
it.
we
you know?
always have good discussion.
And we
Yeah,
always
for sure.
bounce off
Yeah.
each other. We
Yeah.
know, it's
Exactly.
really helpful. And I'd say mine, between net neutrality and religious freedom, I'd say those are my top picks. We do have to go, unfortunately, but we will, hopefully, fingers crossed, be back next season for season 4 of the Raben Report. Thank you to everyone that tuned in, that commented live for the past 7 episodes that we had. Can't wait for what the next season will bring us, and we hope you watch. Thank you so much. Signing off, I'm Elliot. For Marshall, Adam, and Daniel, and myself, have a great day,
Thanks,
everyone.
folks.
Peace
Thank
and
you.
love.